All right, our first speakers of the day, we have Monte Skall, an Executive Director, National Cap Lyme Disease, as well as Miss Susan Green, an attorney from Baltimore, Maryland.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Susan R. Green, and I'm an attorney for over 20 years. In the course of my career, I've had the privilege of representing physicians before medical boards around the country, as well as individuals whose lives were impacted by medical negligence. Excuse me. I'm also a Lyme patient. I want to take a moment to thank and commend our hosts and organizers, Josh Cutler, Allison Hoffman-Carana, Melissa Rascio, Carolyn Booth Thomas, and Amber Limbaugh, and I apologize if I mispronounced any of those. Last night when I arrived at my hotel, I learned that we would be competing with construction, metro closing, rolling thunder, and sub-seasonal temperatures. I figured if a group of Lyme sufferers could overcome their disabilities in order to travel from far and wide to be heard, these challenges couldn't faze us. 5 years ago, I had a seizure in court, and that led to my losing my ability to speak, loss of my hands for keyboarding and writing, and complete loss of my memory. It would take over a year of IV antibiotics before I would regain a facsimile of my former life. How fortunate I was to be cared for by some of the brightest and most knowledgeable Lyme literate doctors in the world. I was determined to help those who did not have the resources that I had received. Excuse me. Once I was well enough to resume practicing law, I pledged to dedicate a part of my practice to the protection of physicians who have dedicated their practices to treating a community so misunderstood by mainstream medicine. I'm privileged and honored to do so. I was tested for Lyme repeatedly. However, it would not be until my fourth test that I would be positive. How could that be in today's modern medicine? Sadly, today the standard lab test for Lyme is an antibody test. One must build antibodies to the bacteria in order to obtain an accurate result. This takes time. During early infection, the test can be wrong 60% of the time, according to the experts. It's staggering to think about. And once your doctor tells you that you don't have Lyme, you rule it out. Your health declines. You visit an endless round of doctors who eventually will diagnose you with chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia. Left untreated, it'll go to your central nervous system, and eventually you'll be told you have an imperfect case of MS or ALS. These are the facts, and they're irrefutable. The test is ineffective, yet so many physicians do not know, and the patients are never told. So, 3 years ago, I set about trying to make a change. I wrote the bill that now has become the Virginia Patient Information Disclosure Act. Effective July 1st, in Virginia, every physician who tests for Lyme disease will have to give a disclosure sheet to the patient advising them that the test is ineffective in early diagnosis, that a negative test does not mean you do not have Lyme disease, and if your symptoms continue, you should return to your physician for retesting and additional treatment. The battle in Virginia was nothing short of a war, but the Lyme community prevailed. The arguments on the House and Senate floors were compelling, as politician after politician took the floor to speak of friends and family that they know who are battling the disease. I'd like to sincerely thank Delegates Comstock and Rust, Senators Black and Howe for their hard work in getting the bill passed. What started as a dream became a reality. Dream big. The tide is turning. Support is growing. More importantly, reach out to others for help. It takes a community. This bill could not have gotten passed without the tireless grassroots efforts of Nat Cap Lyme and its 3,000 plus members. I brought the bill to Monte Skall, the Executive Director of National Capital Lyme, or Nat Cap as they're known. And together, after endless edits, drafting, educating, lobbying, and testifying, what began as a dream is now law. The credit belongs to the Virginia Lyme community who came together to make this happen. I would like to introduce you now to my friend and partner in the Virginia bill, Monte Skall. Thank you, Susan. I just want to say before I start speaking that this was truly what got that bill through was the people. It was a grassroots effort. We were organized in Virginia. We had 12 chapters throughout Virginia. Every district was covered. Every delegate, every senator was contacted. And the people, I can't stress it enough, was what got that bill through. So with that said, I'd like to move on. It is a great honor, truly a great honor, to be here today and to address you all. I know you all have come from far, some from near, but the fact that you're here today representing us and representing this cause, it inspires me. Your dedication, your passage, and your passion inspires me. Nearly 4 years ago, I stood here at Freedom Plaza with other Lyme patients, and we looked toward the building that you see to your left, the Reagan building. It was at that time 18 different physicians and doctors were over there reviewing the IDSA guidelines. We could not go in to that building and be a part of that process. So we stood here and looked very quietly in protest toward the building. We had a solitary 8-foot lime green ribbon that stood on that corner, and it spoke very loudly. It really told the story of a community that stands alone fighting for their rights and the cause, to be treated, to be diagnosed, and to have this disease acknowledged. Today, sadly, 4.5 years later, we are still in the same situation. We are still in the same war, fighting for our doctors, fighting for treatment, fighting for diagnosis, and most of all, for research for the chronic part of this disease that we all experience. I've been a Lyme patient for over 20 years. Sadly, it was 7 years before I got a diagnosis. At that time, this disease had disseminated throughout my body, and I will have it for the rest of my life. It was out of frustration of that situation and the frustration of many of my dear friends that Nat Cap Lyme was born in 2001. We are a 501c3 that for over 13 years has stood for the patient. Not the doctors, my friends, but the patient. We're here for you. We offer support, number one, and then education. We will never give up our support groups because we feel the one-on-one of people being with each other, speaking with each other, supporting each other is primary in recovering from this disease. As I enter the 7th decade of my life, I look to you, to the young people, to the younger generation that's here today to carry on this cause. It is you that will have to get the change that we need. It is you that will have to tip the iceberg and give us the cure. We are always looking for the cure, but we need the research. It would be your responsibility to do that. At a recent rally up in New York, that was the World Protest Rally, Dr. Ken Ligner, who we all know, said something very important, and I'm going to read that quote. He said, "Patients have the power, but they must unite, stop squabbling, and start to support one another. They must be proactive. They must be resolute in their charge." Nat Cap Lyme has believed this for so long, almost since its conception, that it is the people, not the doctors, not the researchers, not the politicians, but the people that will make the change. Our power lies in the strength of sheer numbers of us affected by this disease. Our collective determination to challenge the status quo is what will change the tide. We need to come together, to unite, so that our voice is heard around the world. I have the privilege today, and I mean the privilege, to announce a new concept in advocacy and a brand new organization to our community. It is called Partners Against Lyme and Tick-Associated Diseases, or PAL, P-A-L. PAL believes that progress will only be made when advocacy organizations and individuals unite together to work together. Recognizing, and this is very important, y'all, recognizing that distinct organizations bring a variety of specialized skills, expertise, and experience to share, PAL encourages member groups of this organization to retain their own identity and independence. In other words, when a group like Nat Cap Lyme comes into this PAL group, we will only be one of many. This time, the direction will be equally shared by many groups. And so this will be a united coalition. And we are hoping that everybody today will come ask questions of us, find out about this new organization. Let us no longer remain voiceless victims. Let us inspire each other and collectively engage in nonviolent action on a national and international level to advance awareness, promote patient advocacy, improve patient support, and fund research for Lyme and tick-associated diseases. My friends, life is a journey. There's a beginning and there's an end. It's what happens in between the beginning and the end that's important. Let us take that journey together. Let us find the solution. Come and join us as we make that change. Thank you.